Hey YouTube, what's up? It's Casual Brews here, and I'm going to be doing my 2021 Seahawks season preview. I'm going to try to, well, I have no choice but to do this in one take. I don't want to edit anything. I'm just going to go off the top on how I'm feeling about the upcoming season, touch on what's kind of happened the last year or so with the Seahawks, and where we go from here. The offseason, the draft, all that sort of thing. I'm going to try to tie it all together in a respectable amount of time for YouTube. So accompanied by the Container Brewing New England Double IPA that I just reviewed on my channel here a little bit ago. Just finished recording this video, reviewing this beer. Very solid beer, 8.3 out of 10 I gave it. So we'll get right into it. Very interesting year for the Seahawks coming up. I think maybe one of the more intriguing seasons in recent memory, maybe since like the year after they won the Super Bowl, when they should have been and were set up to win 2 straight Super Bowls. But we don't talk about that here. Very intriguing season, honestly. They obviously last year was a roller coaster. First half of the year, it was like our offense couldn't do no wrong. Russ was throwing 50-yard bombs every game. Defense was terrible. We were losing games, high-scoring games left and right. Defense couldn't stop anyone. Offense couldn't be stopped. And then it's like the last half or so of the season, the role was completely reversed. Our offense sputtered, became predictable. Defenses picked up on our kind of shallow playbook, if you will, and the offense couldn't do much. But the defense all of a sudden became lights out. And, still managed to, get into the playoffs, win the division, host the Rams in a playoff game, which was just a big punch in the dick. Because you got to think, the team looked flawed, honestly. Like, I don't think anyone would have been shocked had they at least beat the Rams, but then, lost to Green Bay again, or Tampa Bay, or whatever, right? But to lose to a Rams team with an injured Goff and a backup quarterback who probably will never even see a regular season, let alone playoff snap ever again, was a real gut punch. Considering we just beat the Rams a couple weeks, I don't know, and near the end of the season we beat the Rams. That sucked. But I think it's if anything, it's better, I think, when your offense is struggling than when your defense is, because the defense seemed to turn a corner, figured it out a little bit. Obviously, we had some changes in the offseason to the defense, but I'm a little more confident knowing that the defense still figured it out, and we brought... Losing KJ Wright, yeah, it kind of sucks, but they're banking on... He had a great season last year, maybe his best season ever, honestly, but his age is like... his injury history, losing him... It's a gamble you're going to take with a pretty deep linebacker room. So hopefully that doesn't cost them. But defensively, the Seahawks are in good shape, and the offense is where you really got to look at being the difference maker here. And they've got rid of Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator, obviously, because it's the same shame, because even Russ seemed like really like him. Like, he posted this emotional thing about how they bonded over this and that, and they would read the Bible together, this and that, yada yada. It's all nice and all, but I think even deep down, even he would know that their play calling and their offense got really predictable, and it just like that team just seemed to figure them out, and it was like they couldn't move the ball down the stretch. And now, not only did they just hire a young, bright mind, they stole from the Rams. I mean, he's no Sean McVay, but they took the next heir to the throne, really, in his offense. They took the right hand man. They took the guy who didn't call plays for the Rams, but obviously knew the offense in and out. They got... Not only does it help them, obviously, in the games against the Rams they'll have coming up, because he'll know their playbook and he can scheme against that, but that Rams offense is the kind of offense that Russell Wilson needs to run. Because, yeah, they kind of patched a little bit of the offensive lineup, but the offensive line is still going to be barely average this year. So to bring a guy in who is used to running quick plays, Rams live off of quick little slant plays, getting guys in space. They've got fast receivers. They use their tight ends, which again, bringing in Gerald Everett from the Rams is huge. He was kind of buried in that offense. Like he's a really talented player, but he was kind of getting buried in a deep tight end room there. He'll come in here and instantly be a 1A, 1B with Disley. Disley's amazing, obviously, but he's never been able to stay healthy. So, and they'll use two tight ends a lot in this offense with with Waldron. So, like, it's the perfect hire. You could not have scripted this offseason better for Seattle, at least on the offensive side of the ball. The draft is still, I think, going to be something we'll have to kind of reflect on over the season. Like Creed Humphrey, the guy they could have picked up in the draft, he was available. They went with Eskridge, kind of like a, I don't want to say gadget receiver, but a more like in space, kind of like shifty receiver, which maybe is exactly what Russell needs. He's got Lockett, he's got DK Metcalf, he's got two guys he's already built up rapport with. They're going to get theirs. But to have that third receiver maybe to work in the slot, to get in space, maybe to get in check down position, especially in like, maybe two tight end sets. Maybe you run him and DK one time, him and Lockett another time. A good guy to have in space, right? So jury's out. I still would have liked to take Creed Humphrey because the Seahawks obviously have question marks at center. Poacher's health is up in the air. Like their interior line got devastated by the Rams. Like that was one of their biggest things. Like against everyone really, they could not protect. They had success in the tackles, obviously with Dwayne Brown. Dwayne Brown. They had some success guarding off the edge, but they just got destroyed in the middle. And Russell doesn't seem to do well with interior pressure. Guys coming off the edge, he can roll right, roll left. But when he's got pressure inside, just like Tom Brady, that's Tom Brady's kryptonite, the greatest quarterback ever. It's pressure up the middle. You got to have a good center and two guards combo. The guards are pretty solidified. They got Gabe Jackson. They got the now second-year guy at LSU. For some reason, it's late at night. I'm not remembering his name for some reason, but they're pretty good there. But their center position, man, could come back to bite them. The guy they started, I don't even want to remember his name. The guy they started, the shorter, kind of undersized guy with the long hair, just got destroyed whenever he had to take snaps when Poaches was out. But yeah, would have liked to take Humphrey maybe there, solidify the center position for the next decade maybe. He's had a good preseason apparently, so Humphrey has, and hopefully that draft pick doesn't come back to bite us in the ass and he's not like a perennial all-pro like a Frederick from the Cowboys before he retired early on. But yeah, no, I think offensively there's still big improvements that were made with, I think the Shane Waldron hire is just outstanding. I think the national media, who still is kind of sleeping on the Seahawks. A lot of people are prognosticating to us to be at best third in the division behind the Rams and the 49ers. I'll get into this more maybe in my full NFL preview, but 49ers, I don't know where, I don't get, I see so much hype on their behalf. I know they just were in a Super Bowl a couple of years ago. They caught lightning in a bottle, but anyway, I think this hire is going to be so beneficial because we have all the tools offensively. We have weapons. We have DK. We have Lockett. We have Russell Wilson in his prime still. Schematically speaking, our schemes were so good the first half of the season, but they became too predictable. And when teams started to counter it, we couldn't fix it. And I think Waldron is going to keep, I really trust that he's going to keep this offense constantly evolving, and I really think the Rams are going to miss him. And there's been some reports from in the Rams organization that they were pissed when they lost Waldron. He's not Sean McVay. He's not the mastermind of that offense like McVay is, but he's right there. He's that second guy in command. I don't think anything McVay knows, Waldron doesn't know. So, and I think we realistically have better pieces than the Rams even have offensively. Rams did what they did on offense and have had success with a barely average quarterback. And, Robert Woods and, the guys they've had on offense are solid. But, if we can do if we can incorporate that scheme with our weapons, with DK, with Lockett, with like an Eskridge will be a guy who I think will excel if you can get if guys like Lockett and DK are going to take coverage down the field. There's been a lot of space. Eskridge is a guy who's been really good. You watch him on tape in college. I know it's college, but he's really good in space, really quick, elusive guy. If he's that like safety blanket for us as a third receiver, they're in good shape. On top of the fact now they got two like Everett is going to be a breakout tight end. He was buried in LA in the tight end room. He's going to have a really good year. I can see like something like 800 yards maybe out of him, honestly. If he runs a 1A, 1B with Disley, whoever stays healthy, he's going to take off in this offense. I really believe that. On top of Carson being a physical freak, I mean, you can watch his workout videos. It's insane. Hopefully he can stay healthy, because if he can, there's that option too. Like, I feel like with this offense, we could be more of a passing attack, but Waldron also incorporated a lot of running game in his offense too, or their offense in the Rams. So with Carson and like maybe Penny, I don't know, Rashad Penny, I mean, you'll take what you can get from him at this point, man. He's hasn't seen the field. He's been injured nonstop. I don't know. Alex Collins is probably the second running back right now. He had a great preseason, a great camp. He looks jacked as hell. He's probably going to be the second guy, and whatever you can get from Penny, you'll take at this point. I mean, it sucks he's a first-round pick, but if he can come in there as a third string running back, gadget guy here and there, I mean, I'm sure Carson will get hurt at some point. He just seems to miss a week or two here and there every year. So if you can get anything from Penny, you'll take it at this point. It's a miracle he's not cut and gone. He might be by the time I have him up. I don't know. But anyway, I think this offense is only going to improve. And if we would have had the offense from the first half of the season with the defense of the second half of the season playing together at the same time, the sky's the limit. And I think the defense is going to be... We have questions at corner. I mean, sucks the guy they drafted, Trey Brown. I like that pick. Would have maybe liked the guy from Sean Wade from Ohio State, even though he had such a bad draft year in comparison to how good he was 2 years ago. I like the Trey Brown pick out of Oklahoma, but he's hurt. He's out for like a few weeks now. Like, we just can't... I swear, we must have had, like, of any team, like, I swear to God, our draft picks get hurt before their first season more than anyone else. It feels like it anyway. Or hurt or motorcycle accidents, Malik McDowell. But, sucks that he's going to be gone for a while. I don't know if he would have really contributed anyway, but at least a good depth guy, maybe special teams, come in the odd in like dime packages in that, Trey Brown. But, I mean, they got Blair back, Amadi. They're going to kind of fight for time at nickel corner, but it looks like they're going Trey Flowers and DJ Reed 1-2 at corner. I mean, I've had faith in Trey. Flowers is just, he's got all the athletic tools. He's just technically not a smart, technically sound player. And I know I'm not the biggest fan of, Norton, honestly. Like, he's a good rah-rah guy. He's a good players coach, but I don't know how, like, he doesn't teach schemes the way, like, Seahawks DCs have in the past. Like, I don't know. He just, like, there's just fundamentally issues with the way Trey Flowers plays. He plays way off the ball. He's just not. He's very athletically gifted. Fundamentals are shit. So if he could figure that out, like, maybe they just need to be serviceable. I think the pass rush is going to improve. I'm not saying much because the pass rush was pretty bad most of the year outside of Jamal Adams coming in and running off the edge. But I think defense can be just average. We don't need to be the Legion of Boom. We don't even need to be like on the outskirts, whatever was left of the Legion of Boom in like 2015-16. They just need to be an average defense. I think their offense is going to be really, really good. Dare I say top 5 in the league offensively? If their offensive line can just hold together, they need there's guys in the market at center who could have come in. I don't know. Maybe they have enough faith in, what's his name? Fish. I forget the guy I'm drawing a blank. Pochich is injured. I know there's the other guy who was pretty bad in the preseason, but Pete has faith in him. It's late. I'm sorry. I'm forgetting his name. It starts with an F. Fuck. Anyway, Center is a big position, man. They got to figure that out. If Pochich isn't healthy, he's gonna miss. If he's not getting ready week 1, I don't know. Is he? They got to figure that out. But the rest of the offensive line with Dwayne Brown now just coming back, just signed finally after holding out. If the offensive line can hold up again and be just average, because this Waldron offense is going to do what the Schottenheimer offense did, and it's hopefully going to get the ball out of Russell's hands fast. Metcalf, he's going to do what he does. Lockett and Eskridge. Much as I would have liked to take the center in the draft, you lost more. Could have re-signed him. They didn't, obviously, because he got cut by Carolina. So, gonna get the ball out quick. You're gonna have Eskridge as your safety blanket. You're gonna run 2 tight ends a lot. You're gonna have, well, what's his name? The guy when he's healthy too. Sullivan or whatever. When he's healthy, he's gonna be in the lineup too. But you're gonna have Everett and Disley. You're gonna run a lot of 2. And when they ran 2 tight end sets last year, I swear to God, it always worked. They didn't do it enough, and that was before that was with them when they had like Luke Wilson and like whoever else. Right? They used to run 2 tight end sets with much inferior talent, and it worked for them. It worked for Russ. It worked for that offense. He likes throwing tight ends. He loved throwing to Jimmy Graham. So if they can run 2 tight end sets, that's going to be success. That's going to work. Russ can roll out. The tight ends can kind of slant it out, and that's a good offense for him. So the offense is going to be drastically improved. It may not be like the deep shot, like Hollywood type of offense it was in the first half of last year, but it's going to be a methodical offense that's going to protect Russ, hopefully lead to less hits and less sacks where he holds the ball way too long, on top of the sacks where he just gets bull rushed right off the gate and he's dead in a second. So the defense just has to be average. The offensive line just has to be average. The skill positions at receiver and obviously quarterback, Russell Wilson, I think is still a top 2 to 3 quarterback in the league. That's enough right there. You don't have to be great in every aspect to be a championship team. Not saying I would bet on them to be a championship team, because obviously Tampa Bay is loaded. Kansas City is going to be extra motivated coming off a loss in the Super Bowl. Green Bay is going to be good. We'll get into all that in my full NFL preview video, but people are sleeping on the Seahawks. And I understand it, because we had an embarrassing loss in the wild card to a depleted Rams team. We lost, KJ Wright, and obviously with coaching turnover, there's always question marks, whatever, and we could have done more maybe to the offensive line. Russ was very vocal about, about that, obviously. But people are sleeping. We're not going to be, at the bare minimum, we're going to win the NFC West. I can bank on that. San Fran is getting vastly overrated. The Rams lost key pieces, especially that safety, Johnson, that they lost. Johnson. They're a strong safety. Great. They lost him to Cleveland, right? Yeah, they got Matt Stafford, but they got holes otherwise in their roster. And then Arizona, if anything, people are sleeping on Arizona too. Arizona's going to have a good year. But we will win the NFC West. We will make a run. We'll be a contender. Are we a Super Bowl team? We'll let the chips fall where they may. I still have to see it to believe it, but the pieces are there. The right changes were made. Some things on the offensive line are still to be desired, but overall, we're better than last year. And we won the division last year, so what does that tell you?